Hey guys, welcome back to another solution video. This is Jishan Ahmed. So this video is about the recently updated lab which was under maintenance. It's called Generative AI with Vertex AI from design. The unique code of this lab is GSP1151. So as you can see, I've already started this lab and the credentials are already generated. So we'll begin with the lab instructions and I'll be explaining each and everything. So let's begin with this Vertex AI. What is Vertex AI? It's basically a Google Cloud service which deals with AI-based functionalities and capabilities. It's a pretty nice Google Cloud service. We have Gemini model, we have Flash model, and we can use those models in developmental builds in relation to generative AI. So let's begin with the lab and perform the instructions. So I'll close it. I've already opened it once. So yeah, first of all, copy the password and right click on this button and always open any lab. I mean, whichever lab you're going to do, always open it in private window. It automatically captures your email. Paste the password. Hit next. Come back to the lab instructions. Now let's begin with the lab. So read the objectives as well. So in this lab, we'll be learning how to get started with prompt engineering, which is a very important field with relation to generative AI and LLMs with the Vertex AI software development kit. Read this as well. Now, what are the setup and requirements? We already went through this thing, and this instructions are basically talking about this credentials all apart. Now, the first instruction it says click start lab. If you need to pay for the lab, pop-up opens. So this is just about these credentials here. So you know this as well. Now, this is the executional phase. The task number one says open the notebook in Vertex AI Workbench. So as I said, Vertex AI is a cloud service. Workbench is a aspect of Vertex AI. Notebook is basically a Jupyter-based notebook. So we'll follow the instructions. Follow me, guys. So search here for Vertex AI. As you can see, it says one AI platform, every ML tool you need. So this is the type of console it gives us. Garden is basically everything about the models. You'll get nice models such as Gemini 1.5 Pro, 1.61 Pro Flash models and whatnot. Then these are the things you can explore, but let's stick to the lab instructions first. We need to go to the navigation menu and then come to Vertex AI and then Workbench. So we are already on the Vertex AI. We'll need to go to the Workbench. So as you can see, the Workbench is over here. And then we need to open a notebook. That is a Jupyter notebook. So follow the instructions very carefully. Find the Vertex AI Jupyter Lab instance. Instance basically a machine. See, this is the instance and click on the open Jupyter Lab. So yes, this is basically an environment where you'll be running your codes. The codes are already provided as this is a instruction based lab. This is not the challenge lab. So you'll be having nice instructions. All the things would be ready for you. So whatever you learn from this labs, you need to implement in challenge lab because challenge lab never comes with the instructions. It only gives you the problem statement and you need to solve the problem and provide, and to get on with a solution and then complete the lab. So that's what I wanted to say. So yes, we are into the Jupyter lab. As you can see, this is a nice secluded environment. Now it says task number two, set up the notebook. Okay, so it says click on the intro prompt design. Okay, let's find the particular Jupyter notebook. Yeah, this is the notebook. It's a Jupyter notebook. Double click on it and it opens the entire notebook. The codes are already there for us. We just need to go through and we'll get to know what happens in each and every code. This is basically an interactive code with a generative AI. It explains us nicely what are hallucinations, how an AI model gets confused at times, something like that. Yes, so let's proceed. Step number two, run through the prompt engineering best practices section of the notebook. A project ID, copy your project ID. It will be unique for each and everybody. So let's copy it, copy, and then get back to lab and then found, and then let's find. As you can see, I've already found the project ID section and then we'll paste my project ID. Then you need to get the region as well. Region is location. And as you can see, this is in US 71, but I need to switch it with the actual thing given by the lab instructions. Otherwise, no progress. I'm very clear with this thing in many of the labs. So yes, your location matters, your region matters, and also your project ID matters, of course. Now let's get back to the lab. And now what you need to do is you need to run all the cells. So this is not some important cell. This is just basically a license file. Now let's begin. Click on this and then click this play button. Otherwise, other than clicking this particular button, you can click this button. Other than that, you can hit Control and Enter. Other than that, you can hit Shift plus Enter. So I told you about three ways. I mean four ways. Either you can click this play button to run this to run the cell. Otherwise, click this particular button. Otherwise, be specific and press Shift plus Enter on your keyboard. And other than that, you can also hit Control plus Enter on your keyboard. As you can see, this also shows us that we have run this particular cell for 5 times. So this is basically the time. I mean, not the time, the count. So if I run this cell, 6 will come over here because after 5, 6 comes. Then if I run this cell, 7 will come, something like that. I'm just restarting the entire runtime. I'll just hit on Shift plus enter. So it's going to restart. As you can see, there's the warning that this shell will be dying, this kernel will be dying, and then it will restart. So click OK, no need to worry. And yeah, this is something which you need to focus on. Once it says idle, then only run cells. If it says not idle busy, then don't run any cell because it's processing. So yeah, let's assume that the kernel has restarted and you can see the status is idle. So yeah, we're good to go. Shift enter. Now it says 1. Why 1? Because we have restarted the cell. So it has resetted the count. So yes, so basically in this cell what we are doing is we are importing the system information, and then basically there is an import statement regarding the authentication, because once we are here, it is authenticating with this credentials over here in this particular shell via this console. So this is basically an authentication which is happening. So we are being authenticated. Who? The user, this user. This user is getting authenticated. Now let's set up our variables. We are specifying to this shell that the project ID is going to be this, the location is going to be this, and we are importing this vertex AI. We are importing this vertex AI Google Cloud Service. Now we are initializing the project. We are passing this value into this variable, and then this variable is passed to the project. This is a syntax of initialization from vertex AI. Now from vertex AI, this service, we're importing generation config generative models, and we're importing time. Basically, this is from Python. Yeah. So yeah, from vertex AI generative models. If you see here and come back to the vertex AI workbench, not workbench exact to be precise, you can go into freeform. Which are the particular models? You can choose Gemini 1.5 Flash 002. So these are experimental models. So these are the models which are getting imported over here. So we are using those models. So I'll hit Shift plus Enter, then we'll be loading the model, this model, Gemini 1.5 Flash, as I showed you over here. So yeah, I think this is this one. It's Gemini 1. Flash 001. So yeah, these numbers are just for, I mean, these are just for developers. We don't need to get into detail for those things. So let's load the model. Shift Enter. You can even click this one, this particular button. So what this is doing, what this code is doing is we are calling the Gemini. I mean, like this is a function in which function call is happening, and then we have specified a prompt variable, and then basically we are using the try and exception fundamentals over here, and this function is basically for the message sending. Let's say we got a prompt, and then we need to reply to the specific prompt by user. So this is also following, this is more basically used for sending a response, and here also we are using the try and exception fundamentals. Now I've already run this particular cell. Now let's begin. Shift plus enter. This is the first prompt which says this particular text, and then see here we are calling the function. We're calling this function. This prompt, what do you think would be a good name for a flower shop that specializes in selling bouquets of dried flowers more than fresh flowers? So this is a question which we passed on to into this particular variable, and this variable is sent to this called Gemini function which we created over here. So this prompt is coming, and on this particular prompt, the model is processing. The response is getting created. We are returning the response. Then this answer comes that here are some names for a flower shop specializing in dried flowers being in different themes. So yeah, this is the first prompt which we just executed. Then we'll come to another cell. Now it again sends this particular prompt, send a name for a flower shop that tells you that sells bouquets of red flowers. Sorry for saying tells you. Yeah. So we are passing it into this variable, and the same thing is happening. So I've done this that cell as well. Now we'll hit shift and enter, shift and enter. As you can see, tell me about Earth. This can be a detailed and generalized prompt. So it gives a lot of content, and it is about Earth. So yeah, processing done by this particular model, Gemini by Flash. So this is a workbench. You can write this prompt over here as well. I'll show you the demonstration there. Okay, I'll just use a keyboard in this cells, copy, and I'll just paste it over here. And I can also fine tune the model based on the parameters over here. So I'll just hit on send from. As you can see, it generates a nice response here as well. So this is a workbench you can try, but this lab tells us to more specifically go into the notebooks, the kernels and notebooks. This is a console, this is a Jupyter Lab, specific sophisticated environment. So yeah, let's get back to the lab. We can exit this. This is not necessary. This is just often to make you guys understand. Once we click on workbench, you can see. Yeah, you can see that this is a sophisticated environment created for you. Yeah, let's get back to the lab now. Hit shift and enter. And yeah, always remember this. Ask one task at a time. Don't go on. You can also click this. You can select all the cells. Not like this. You can select all the cells, and then you can simply click on this. But it's not recommended because it won't track your progress properly. So again, another question and the prompt. You get a response. Again, it's complete. It's complete. Let's move on with another prompt. You can see this kernel gets busy. Now it says idle. So once it says busy, it's basically I mean it's processing. It's doing some work. What work? They're answering this particular prompt. That work. Yes. Pretty simple. Then again this cell. Now we'll hit shift and enter. Again we get a nice response. Now what happens is hallucination is a concept which I want you guys to particularly read all this thing and be specific and learn what exactly hallucinations means. within a generative AI model or any sort of AI, how you can make it, I mean, how you can confuse the LLM, how you can confuse the AI. So again, let's click on Control plus Enter or Shift plus Enter, or you can just simply click this button. Now, I asked the AI, what day is it today? It says, I do not have access to real-time information, including the current data. To find out what day it is today, you can check a calendar or ask a voice assistant. Now it says, since LLMs do not have access to real-time information for the integrations, you may have noticed it hallucinates what day it is, put in some of the inputs. Again, basically, they have mentioned all the things over here, what hallucinations exactly mean. So we're not waste time over here. You guys need to read this and then understand what happens over here. Let's click Shift plus Enter again. There's another prompt. This is basically built on traveling. The prompt is basically saying what is the best place for sightseeing in Milan, Italy. So it is nicely oriented in terms of traveling. You have also provided a system instructions in instruction to the generative AI that you need to. This is basically a context, and we are just telling the AI that you need to answer me specifically to this particular area based on the system instructions I've given you. Now we get a nice response based on purely based on traveling. Now we'll go with another cell. Now it says, sorry, I can't answer the question because the question is related to what? Food. What's for dinner? But here we are saying that you are a AI chatbot for travel website. So now it is getting fine tuned. So we have told the AI that you are an AI chatbot for a travel website. So if we ask the AI anything else than the travel area, I mean travel domain, so it would reply us with this thing. Sorry, I can't answer the question because this particular AI, I mean this AI is saying I am designed to help with travel planning, not for dinner or something like that, not personal meal decisions. So yeah, that is something if we can achieve if you want to make a domain specific AI. Now let's move forward and run this cell. It says the prompt says I'm a high school student, recommend me a programming activity to improve my skills. So yes, this is the context which we get. This is the same kind of response which we get after solving, I mean, after giving AI this particular prompt. I'm asked to recommend me a programming activity. So yeah, it's pretty much basic that you guys need to run the cells only, but that's very lazy thing that, I mean, that's not beneficial if you just keep on running the cells. It's very important that you go through the concepts such as I explained. What does this system instructions do? What is this about? How you're fine tuning the model to one specific domain. So this small concepts are important, and that really matters in your learning as well. So again, we'll run this prompt, which provides the AI with some questions and some options as well. We ask it, we give it a context and options that we have this particular programming languages. First option is Python, second is JS, and yeah, third is Fortran. I don't think many of you know about Fortran. It is a very traditional language. It was used more into the GPU side section for low level programming, chip level programming, I would say. So yeah, Fortran is a veteran type of programming which was quite famous in the early days. So yeah, let's move on to the prompts. So yeah, there's another concept known as zero shot prompt, and I want you guys to go through this again because if I go on explaining everything, the video is going to be too long, and I think it has already been too long. So yeah, there's a, I mean, there are many types of prompts. So let's categorize it as zero shot prompt. They have done this, and one shot prompt as well. So as I run the cells, so basically it is doing the sentiment analysis. The tweet one says, I loved the new YouTube video you made. Sentiment is positive. Then we are saying that was awful, super boring. Now it detects the sentiment as negative. It detects this sentiment as positive. Why? Because it's saying I love the YouTube video you made. So yeah. Now there's another type known as few shot prompt. Again, just run this cell. Now, what does this particular category mean? So tweet one is basically I love the new YouTube video you made, which shows as positive sentiment, and the other sentence shows as negative sentiment. Now, the third tweet, the third prompt, let's say it's about the prompt is this, but let's say the third tweet is about which is supporting the prompt. Something surprised me about this video. It was actually original. It was not the same old recycle stuff that I will see, watch it, you will not regret it. Sentiment is not given. We have specified the sentiment for this type of sentences that is positive, and we have also specified the sentiments for this type of sentence that is negative. We have not specified something for this sentence, so the sentiment is empty. Now the output when we run this particular cell comes as positive. Why? Because surprised me. This particular word, group of word, surprise is a one word, me is another word. So this word indicates a positive response. Original is a positive attribute. Original is considered as a positive attribute. Not the same old recycled stuff is a comparison that implies that the video is better than the typical content. Means what? It was not the same. Not the same as what? Old recycled stuff that I always see. What do you see? Some old recycled stuff. And you're comparing this sentence with what sentence? With which sentence? This sentence. Now, this particular sentence, watch it, you will not regret it, is a strong recommendation, further suggesting a positive sentiment. We are saying, watch it, you will not regret it. When we say we go to movies and then we say, I went to XYZ movie and I really like the movie, and we convey it to others that, please, my friend, watch this movie. It's gonna be great because it's a very wonderful movie. We share feedback. So basically, this is something which is happening in the third tweet. And this particular area of the third tweet, this section of the third tweet, watch it, you will not regret it. So we're making a suggestion, which is also considering a positive response. I mean, positive sentiment. Thus, the response comes as positive. Now, we have already went through all the steps. Let's check for the progress. It should reflect as 10 on 10. If not, just keep on refreshing, or otherwise, we'll go and rerun the cells. As this is a newly updated lab, to take some time, and this type of labs take time to reflect the progress. If when you run the cell, it takes some time to get this score over here. So yeah, we'll go on checking. As we have already done all this, this is just checking whether we have run the cells or not. Yeah, you can see that 30 has come out of 100. I believe you guys got some idea of how AI works, very in very layman terms, how prompts work and how we manipulate AI, how we confuse AI in terms of hallucination. Sorry. So yeah, that was pretty much it from my side. Once the score comes, I'll take a leave. As you can see, the green ticks have come over here. Now it says rerun the task. It feels that it has not captured my task, so I'll just make it side by side. I'll just come back to the kernel area and then hide this as well. Now I'll click on check my progress for everything. It has not given me scores. Okay. So yeah, this task is getting stuck, so we'll get to that. As no need to worry. It's very basic. This is an instruction lab. This is not any kind of challenge lab where you need to worry. So yeah, okay, all those things are done. Yeah. So that's the approach I wanted to make it clear to you guys that don't worry in this kind of labs. It takes time, but it acquires the score easily. So yeah, now the task is generative task lead to higher output variability. We will come back to this task. Yeah, this task. Run through the term generative task and classification task to reduce output variability. Okay, let's search for this. Copy, Control F, paste. Okay, so we are here. So let's run this cell again. 6 cells hidden. As you can see, I just clicked on it and it acquired my progress. So yeah, this is something what happens when your connection is loose, or but when you are into the instructions page only and you're not making activity over here after performing the instructions, so it stops checking your progress. So you need to be active in both the pages, in the instructions page as well and the performing stage as well, I mean, performing page as well, and the console as well. I mean, this is the console. The entire is the Google Cloud Console. It's like a sandbox where you're performing all the things, and this makes you skilled enough to work on the actual Google Cloud platform. This is a Google Cloud Scaleboost. It's a learning platform, but the actual projects are deployed and manipulated on GCP, that is Google Cloud Platform. As you can see, I've interacted with this console, my executionary page, my sandbox, so it automatically check my progress. I mean, it acquired the score nicely. So yeah, let's wait for some time and it should be done now. Okay, so it says improve response quality by including examples in the subject. Okay, no problem. Copy this. Yeah, I need to rerun the cell. I see. It seems that I need to rerun the cell because it's not capturing my progress. Yeah, no problem, no problem. Yeah. So yeah, we'll rerun the cell. 1, 2, shift presenter, shift presenter. 3. Let's check the progress yet again. Now it should capture the progress. If not, we need to rerun it again and we need to check where we are lagging. There you go. It captured the code. We just rerun the cell. So it happens. Sometimes it won't catch your progress. So you just need to be patient. You just need to be calm. Just keep interacting with both the pages properly. Now we can safely close it. And remember to always open this console in private window. Don't perform over here in your normal window because you have many accounts. I feel, I mean, everybody has 2 to 3 accounts, Google Gmail accounts. So it might overlap with your accounts, and then there's a high possibility that this console is going to open in your personal account. So anything you perform, that would go under the name of your personal account, and that might create a problem. So yeah, I believe this was very easy, and you guys learned something about from this video about Vertex AI, what it is, what is prompt designing, and how you get prompts and how you respond. I mean, how you get responded from an AI based agent and LLM. So yeah, that's pretty much it from my side. We'll catch you guys in the next one.